Hello everyone, this is, welcome back to the Book Corner. So, I'm redoing this video because I double checked and I found out that I did something wrong. Or I didn't say, so I'm redoing this video. So, I'm doing a review of Jim Butcher's Grave Peril, which is the third book in the Dresden Files series. This is actually a new cover. This was actually the only cover I could actually get, but I don't mind. The only problem I had was with the writing, font. So I ended up having to read it on Kindle because, lo and behold, that is the only way I could actually read it. But this was also, the Kindle edition was actually a library one. So I'm actually going to get the library, not the library. I'm going to get the Kindle edition, buy the Kindle edition, and return this back to the library, and then I'm going to get the, I'm going to buy the Kindle edition. So, yeah. So, alright, so this is going to be a pretty lengthy video because I'm going to kind of go into a character description of Susan because she is probably one of the most annoying characters in the Dresden Files. And I know there's some people that love her and some people that don't. I was actually on one, I forgot where it was at, and they said that the only good thing that she did was sacrifice herself for her daughter. So, yeah. Alright, so before I begin, I want to let people who may not know this, there's a total of 4 courts in the Dresden Files universe. You have the Black Court, the Red Court, the White Court, and the Jade Court. So, in this book, we are introduced to Thomas, who is, we later find out is Harry Dresden's brother, Michael, who somehow gets into a lot of trouble when he hangs out with Harry, Charity, who is most likely responsible for the fact that her daughter's got magic, who is literally a scary person. We're introduced to Justine, who is Thomas's soulmate, and who knows a lot about the Red Court, especially the change part of it. Yeah. So Thomas somehow ends up in the middle of Harry's little adventure. He happens to like Harry because, you know, Harry's a good person. Michael and Thomas do not get along, but it's funny. Just funny. The little banter's hilarious. So in Grave Peril, the Never Never is being wounded up. We once again encounter Harry's godmother, who's freaking creepy. Yeah, she is overly obsessed over deals and bargains, especially the one that a young teenager gave her, which adds to her creep factor. They're battling this ghost. The Never Never. It's a really weird version of Chicago, when Chicago would go up like a tinderbox. And Michael's like, no wonder Chicago went up like a tinderbox in the 1800s. Yeah, now you know. Yeah. So they have to find out what is going on. There's a former officer that is attacked. Murphy gets attacked and everything. So, yeah, and then on top of it all, Harry gets an invite to Bianca's little party with a guest. So you can bring a guest. In other words, you can bring your own food. And there's a lot of different types of people there that Harry has never met before. He encounters a dragon in human form. He's like, I thought you'd be bigger. So he encounters a dragon. He encounters a bunch of Black Court vampires. He reminds them of Bram Stoker, who Bram Stoker actually managed to convince someone in the Black Court to basically tell him how to kill them. But he did it in a little horror novel and everything. The Black Courts are still very upset about that, and probably the guy ended up getting staked. Yeah. So, this is also the downfall of Susan. Susan decides that she's going to forge an invite, which is not a good idea. And she just doesn't care because she just got to have the story. So, yeah. Jim Butcher's book is really great. I'm going to give it 5 stars. And, I mean, yeah, at the end, Harry beats the bad guy, and he does a little bit of naughty magic to bring the dead up. And these are all the dead people that have died, all the people that have died in that mansion, which tells you that Bianca has owned it, or someone similar to her has owned it for a very long time, and they're not happy, and they decide they're going to get their little revenge. I thought it was really great. You had the dead getting their revenge. It just makes them easier to rest. And then, of course, it's the book that, at the very end of it, we have the beginning of the war between the Red Court and the White Council, and it all starts in Europe, and the White Council is like, okay, we want to find out what the fuck did you do. So that is also, that's also the beginning of that. So in the book, Susan becomes a Red Court vampire, not a full Red Court vampire. She is a half vampire, meaning that she can enjoy all the wonderful things like sunlight. She does not have the flesh mask. She does have the venom, but it's not as powerful as a full Red Court vampire. So the reason that Susan is changed into a vampire, or at least a halfling, goes all the way back to Stormfront, when one of the girls got her heart ripped out. And why in the world would Bianca later on down the road choose this particular method when it is the method that killed her snack? I do not understand that. But we'll get to that when we get to changes, because those are questions we're sure everybody wants to know the answers to. So she becomes a vampire. Justine is basically begging Harry to, don't go to that corner of the room, you're not going to like it. Yeah, like that works in any kind of situation. Because if you tell someone not to go over there, they're going to go over there because they're stupid. But Susan becomes a half vampire, and which means that she's still alive. She's not dead, but she has abilities that she didn't have before. And being turned, it took her to be bitten by Bianca for her to realize that she had fucked up. literally fucked up. And she basically uses magic's own rules to cause Susan to end up in the situation she's in. She goes into that laundry room of her own free will. She gets probably changed in that laundry room, and they throw Justine in there, and later on Harry in there, who's now suffering from mushroom poisoning because he was too stupid to understand that he may not actually survive it, but he did because he's Harry Dresden, and we have to let the lovable goof survive. And how basically Harry manages to break Susan out of her bloodlust is using the words that the Red Court cannot stand. Love. I love you. And it breaks her out of it. Because what also happens is those words are so powerful because he truly, truly, truly does love her, that it actually destroys his godmother's memory spell that she placed on Susan, and Susan now starts remembering basically everything. And of course, Susan now realizes that she has royally fucked up. And so they all get away, and of course Harry finds her at the beach, and she says to him that at night I have to lock myself up because I don't trust myself around people, because if she has her first full feeding, meaning that she drains her victim dry, she will become a full red court, and she will literally be a total monster. But of course, Harry has told her that if you ever become full red court, I will basically kill you in the most humane way possible, which is comfort, which is bizarre, but it's comfort to know that you're loved so much that your death will be the most humane thing that I can possibly do to you. It's a weird world that Jim Butcher has, but we're just following it. And that does give her comfort. So she has to go away, and she appears a couple of times later on, but yeah. So why would somebody abandon common sense and go to a house full of vampires? Because, as I said, Susan was absolutely obsessed over getting the story. She did not care about her personal safety, and she paid for it with her humanity, which is typically what happens to people that are foolish, and typically what happens in a lot of horror movies. There is no common sense at all in these victims. So yeah, I mean, that's why blonde women who scream in horror movies generally are found and generally are killed. The only exception in the horror movie career about people screaming was actually Fear Street, and they knew better than to scream, and that's how most of them survived, because there was no final girl. There was just, two people. So yeah. So once again, as I said, I will give the book 5 stars. It is just a really great book. Jim Butcher does a great job with the Dresden Files. So I'm actually going to take a little break from the Dresden Harry's Little World. Next month, I will be starting the 4th book in the Dresden Files series. And yeah, so I will see you guys around until next time. Stay well. Bye.